Hello, welcome to Brush Hour. I am Francesca, and I'm here for our weekly art hang. I am just getting live on Instagram too. So hello to people on YouTube, hello to people on Instagram. Yes, I hope everyone has had a good week considering everything going on. I know things are a little bit heavy right now in the world. So yeah, I hope everyone is taking care of themselves. And yes, I'm excited to take some time to be creative and kind of zone all of the noise out and have a good time. So yeah, I hope everyone again has had a good week. Can't believe it's Thursday. I say that every week, but I feel like these weeks go by so quick. Yeah, just a little bit what I've been up to. I did a bunch of painting last Friday. I went to Scottsdale Artist School and went to their open studio and so did some live painting or painting from life. So that was really fun. I did actually something a little bit different this time. Last time I did two paintings. I did a study and then a more fully rendered one. And this time I wanted to just do a few studies because I was only there for the morning this time. So yeah, I did this one. Actually, let's see which ones I did in order. I think this one was first. And then this one was the second one. Our model was so fun. She had all of this turquoise jewelry on, this bright makeup, and so it was really fun to play with a little more color. Just kind of gives you a little bit more to work with. Some people love it, some people don't, but I think it's a lot of fun. And here was the third one. So these were each about an hour because we do 20 minutes and then like a 5-minute break. And then sometimes there's a 10-minute break as well. So yeah, lots of fun. It's always good getting some good study sessions in there. I'll be there tomorrow again. Yeah, so these will be it'd be nice to varnish these. Maybe I'll do that like next week, kind of bring out some of those darker colors. But yeah, it was fun to kind of just do like literally some color sketching. And this one right here is what I had been working on. I can't tell if that's like a giant shadow right there. I don't think so. What's cool is now I think it'll show comments on here. So only little feature. Hey Matt, how you doing? How's your week been? Getting some photographing done. And yeah, just let me know too if let's see, is it not going live on Instagram? It wasn't. Okay, well, we are live on Instagram now too. I'm not sure if it like goes to the beginning or if it cuts in, but so yeah, just a recap. Hello to anyone on Instagram that's popping on. It was a pretty good week. I did some painting from life at Scottsdale Artist School for their open studio, so I'll just share that on Instagram. So I did these 3. And again, she had like all of this fun color makeup and jewelry, so it was really kind of cool to dive into some add more color and vent a little bit more, or not really have to admit more, have it there. So yeah, especially the jewelry kind of just like makes a fun difference. And yeah, so that was lots of fun. And then this I actually did yesterday. I actually recorded it, so I'll have some video progress of that. And yeah, this one I like loved so much. I approached it a little bit different than normal, so it's not quite as like an earthy sort of palette. So this was last week that I'm actually going to work on it. Sanded it down as well to kind of just break it up and glaze another like hotter layer of color. So we'll see how that goes today. I'm just going to kind of really play around. But yeah, so something, it's fun doing something a little more colorful versus, you know, something again like a little more like earthy. This one too. Still working on this one, but definitely having fun with it. So yeah, that has been the week, and So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with some painting. If you have any questions, feel free to pop a question or comment on there or say hello. Yeah, so this was really cool being able to, play with these like brighter colors. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I want to be stepping into a little bit more of that and really kind of create this different sort of world as well. So I'm going to be doing a series kind of within this palette. Yeah, I'm trying to, I think I've talked about it on a few other brush hours, but I love doing these like studies and everything, but I'm going to be working on some bigger pieces coming up. So I'll be sharing a bit of that through brush hour as well. Yeah, let me know what you think. And then Matt says, busy week. Yes, I will actually be scanning some photos instead of watercolor or pastel. I like your paintings. Thanks. Very cool. Scan some new photos. Cool. You're always doing fun photo shoots and everything. Okay. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. So I'm actually using the same palette. In fact, I'm just going to bring this back a little bit too. Just a bit. And I might cut this away. Still a little bit. But yeah, again, let me know if that music is too loud. Hello, people join in on Instagram. But yeah, I definitely feel like I have really dove, whatever, into, a lot of like painting this week. And it's just to distract from all the noise in the world right now. And yeah, it's really unfortunate. I don't know about you, but I have been stressing a little bit. But I feel like art is such a good way to be able to kind of chill out, zone everything out. And at least there is art to be able to do that. I think that's part of the amazingness of it. And I do have some upcoming workshops. 4/19 we'll be at Four Peaks for a Painting from Life workshop. So it's going to be a guided workshop. I have an awesome model that'll be there, Jillian. I have painted her before from life and from photo references. She's super sweet, super funny. So yeah, I'm super excited to have her. And yeah, we already have quite a few people signed up, so make sure that you snag a spot. That'll be really cool. And we're gonna have it all decked out. We'll have her in a costume, and I'll have a fun background. And yeah, so you can kind of focus on the portrait if you want. You can also just observe if you want, like observe my demos I'll be doing. A combo, whatever kind of works for you. I like being able to, it's everyone's own experience, but it's always good to get like good photo references and everything. So in fact, both of these right here are from students. So I always like to show students, like at the end of a workshop, just like tips on how I like to photograph models. And so yeah, it's a great opportunity to get some photos, share with people. And yeah, but yeah, so this one I'm super excited about. This is Sarah, super beautiful. And I feel like too, for some reason, she reminds me of like a cute Disney character or something. But I've also been watching too much Disney, I think, with having a toddler. Making sure to stay hydrated. I feel like sometimes I'm done with these, and it's, when we create, we're actually using a lot of brain power. We're using a lot of energy. So yeah, it's important to make sure that we're hydrated, that we've eaten. Anytime I like come from a workshop or painting from life, like at an open studio at Scottsdale Art School, I mean, I feel like I'm like just zonked, and it's because we're using so much brain power, which is good. We're exercising our brain, and It's good for cognitive function. But yes, make sure that you stay hydrated, make sure that you're eating. Just some obvious tips, but yeah. So what I'm gonna do is, so this is all dry, like I said. I did sand it down a little bit. I think it was with a 180, like a sanding block, and that way I could get, you know, just a little bit of like texture going. So when I glaze over this, it's just gonna give me a little bit more like depth and fun. You can also always, like, you know, use a palette knife, but I feel like the sanding blocks I always have a lot of fun with. So, but yeah, I'm just kind of trying to play around a little more. I've been experimenting much more, which I have been happy with. It's always good to do. Okay, so I'm also using Gamblin's 3-in-1 medium. To this magenta, especially, in some transparent oxide yellow. Just see what will happen with it. It feels like really scary almost, but let's do it. And I'll kind of wipe this out too. I don't know if I really want to get too far onto the face. Definitely with the lips and the nose. I'm just kind of like wipe around too. Get in there. And I'm not going to do it really, add any of that wash really on the forehead, so I can kind of keep that a little brighter, and then also just keep more of this red in the center of the face. Okay. I think I'll do is also kind of go over my, define my drawing up a bit too. And I'd just like to share that I am very proud of myself because I have been on top of washing brushes. It is sometimes so hard, especially with oil, because it doesn't like dry right away, whereas with acrylic, you know, you have to like wash it right away, or so it's easier to stay in that rhythm of it. But sometimes I'll forget to, because you can always put your brushes in the fridge, so I have like a mini fridge that'll keep them in, but it doesn't always work like that. So anyway, it's always a good thing to be caught up with. Although I did pick up from Jerry's this Bristol Magic, and so I do have some that are like have completely dried paint, so I'm excited to kind of get these maybe back in order. Yeah, I love Jerry's Artarama. It's so much fun. I feel like, you know, it's always like nice to go in and like pick up art supplies instead of just ordering them online. I don't know, especially over there, everyone's so fun. And they always have pretty good sales, so make sure you check that out. Okay. I have all my brushes. Where'd they go? Here they are. I know some artists that just use like a couple brushes for their, you know, and they're good. I am not like that. I like to use a bunch. sometimes more than others, I guess. What about you guys? Do you guys work? Everyone's brain is different. Just got her. What a reference. Now, I'm gonna go in and kind of replicating a bit of this one. And so instead of just reinventing the wheel, I want to go ahead and kind of keep this here so I can, compare and contrast and be able to create something consistent. And right now I'm not looking at the reference, which maybe I should at least have out, but I do there is something about not staring at the reference for a little bit because I tend to try to get too perfect instead of focusing on an overall image or like the, perfection of it. So I'm going to have this nearby, but just closer. But yeah, I want to like be keeping maybe like a design, more of a design in mind versus trying to chase exactly what's there. Oh my goodness. And so yeah, this student, she's actually a pilot. I didn't know that until after seeing her Instagram, but that is so cool. I love that about teaching. There's just always so many, different people like doing different things and trying to try new things or deep dive into things. And it's like art is for all. It's just really cool thing. And I understand I'm a little partial, but I'm just like forever amazed by it all. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to drop that in. Even if it's just how you're enjoying the show. Or let me know what you're working on. And I'll be posting my underpainting of this one tomorrow, but what I did really enjoy about it is sometimes like when I'm doing brush hour, I'm like really kind of like tight in. So today I'm actually standing instead of sitting because I do prefer to stand. When we're standing, we can really see, approach our painting literally a little bit better. We don't want to be too close to it. That is why, we have like long handle brushes so we can be further away from it. We can just kind of see overall what's going on a little bit better. So yeah, I'm like, this time I really wanted to be able to not be super close. And yeah, I'll be able to just get back a little bit easier. Matt says, I usually have a set of brushes dedicated for light and dark tones. Yeah, you know, I actually was just thinking about that because, you know, when you wash your brushes, even though, you know, you're really washing them, there can be like remnants behind. So it is kind of a good idea to keep them separate, even like as is, especially like the smaller ones. They get in the ferrule and all of that, but or I guess even the big ones too. But um, yeah, it's a good idea. Anything to stay organized, you know? Okay. This ear. I saw something right before I was going on, so I didn't want to, and then it like, all of a sudden Instagram refreshed and it went away, but I saw something about a Caravaggio documentary coming out. And I'm like, how interesting. I mean, I know his work, love his work, but I don't know that I know a ton about him, so that'll be cool to watch. Okay, maybe I need to get a little bit more brave about adding things, so I'm just gonna use a bigger brush. And I was gonna like keep the hair pink like this other one. Maybe I could always change it to maybe green. It doesn't need to be exactly the same, but I don't know. I like the idea of like keeping it even a different hair color. It doesn't need to be so spot on. That's the beauty about art. And I feel like, you know, especially when you're studying and trying to get better and everything, it's easy to get like stuck in that and wanting to chase like perfection and exactly what we're seeing. And yes, we want to like paint what we see and everything, but it's also good to get experimental and try different things that you know, making a piece of art instead of exactly what we're seeing. You can always invent things. Same thing with like hairstyles, you know, like this could be something completely different, although I think I am gonna like create, you know, this teal that's around it. In fact, why don't I just do that right now? I feel like when you dive into something, a dramatic turn, you can kind of get it going if you feel like you're not doing or not moving anywhere. Okay, so let's add a bit of... Hey Joe, hi, stop in to say hi. Hello, hello. Hope you're well. Okay, add some color. I really just love how these colors kind of work together. And when I was making this last week, I was really seeing this like kind of circle around her, almost like a, you know, halo. Which is pretty standard in a lot of historical paintings. Okay, see where that takes me. Hello, Marco. See your hello there. Okay. So I want to add a bit of green to her face, to the bottom. Get some cool temperature in there. And then go over it, but it's nice to kind of get color in here, especially since I'm using all this color in the background. That's kind of what's fun about it, is you can, you have more room and liberties to add in the green. Now, of course, I won't keep this green like that, but it is like a fun starting point, at least I think. And I need a little bit of white. But yeah, I was just talking about my Painting from Life workshop on April 19th. And we'll also be having Paint Your Pet at the Cellar on April 29th, Wednesday. You know what? One thing I wanted to add was some Naples yellow. Nose, always, not always, but I do, I'm like really liking kind of pushing the the temperature, making it, especially to start. I am going off of my reference is actually like a black and white photo, and I always like to kind of start off with that. Talked about it before, but it is nice to be able to, not worry too much about the exact color I'm seeing. So I'm not like chasing the image that I'm, looking at, because, that's what the camera did. I don't need to do an exact replica of that. Yeah, and so when I was at Scottsdale Artist School last week, I did each about an hour each for those paintings, and it was really, fun to do it that way. And then, but I think I might this time do some of them simultaneously, like maybe do a couple, like both at the same time. Just to kind of like go back and forth. So instead of doing one from start to finish and then the other one, I don't know, just kind of like play around with it. I think that's kind of the fun part about going to things like that, is we can experiment. It could be that this session is for seeing and replicating, recording that exact color we're seeing. Could be that we're trying to be repetitious and trying to like create the same thing over and over. I mean, there's so much you can do. You can really like have fun with it. So this is definitely a fun one. But I think I want to do some that at least have multiple portraits in one. I think that would be really fun. And yeah, they don't need to be, I actually have some fun reference photos from a while back that we did at the Westin. It's actually like right before I found out I was pregnant, and then all chaos ensued with a really chaotic pregnancy. But that's the great thing about reference photos, is they don't go away, so you can always revisit them, whether you've already used them for something. It's like the references that keep on giving. really right here, what I'm doing is just making sure that I have like lots of warms and cools. So yeah, I kind of like to make sure that I have like different brushes right here that have like different values of my warms. And then some cool ones as well. Matt, I don't know if you're still on, but so you're, what are you scanning like photos from? Are they from a shoot that you did, or like what's the project for? I'm gonna do this eye right here, but then I wanted to share something kind of cool that I read about. Actually, Celestiano shared this. He's on here sometimes. Okay, Matt says he's scanning negatives. Oh, cool. I have a copy stand that I can make digital reproductions of film on my digital camera. Then I flip the negatives into a Negative Lab Pro. One set is for a friend and the other is for a work colleague. Oh, how fun. So I actually, speaking of, I'm gonna start maybe every other brush hour or once a month, just depending, but I wanna start bringing people on so we can kind of like do a collab, if you, literally a collab, yeah. And yeah, other artists. So I have Tyson from Sentient that he'll be on in a couple of weeks. So I'll have a date for that coming up. But Matt, it'd be awesome to have you on. Maybe you can share some of your work, your process. But yeah, I want to like showcase other people's stuff too. Definitely makes it, you know, fun to share it all, because like that's also another thing that's awesome about art is there's so many different mediums. It's not just painting, it's not just drawing. There's so many other things. So yeah, Matt, if you'd be interested, let me know. I'd love to have you. Rebecca says, is there still space in the upcoming live model class? Yeah, so if you want to go to francescabessettart.com, the link is also in my bio on Instagram, but you can sign up there. So I do have some spots left, last I checked. And yeah, it's going to be lots of fun. So it's going to be perfect for anyone that is a beginner to, you know, just skilled and advanced and wants to refine skills and practice. It's great for anyone. But even if you're like a brand new beginner, if you're trying to like figure out, if it's something you really want to do or, dive into, whatever, it'll be for all. And I will have for anyone that like doesn't have any art supplies, and is, that new and trying to, dip their toe into things. I will have like basic drawing supplies, and I'll be demoing like a drawing study, like a quick one, some thumbnails, and then I'll do some painting as well. So it's going to be lots of fun. And then if you've been to them before at Four Peaks, we have like this, we're towards the back, so we have this giant room, and beautiful like brick background and stuff, that we're going to dress up, of course, the model. But I have brand new lights, so I have these awesome lights that are gonna really be able to light the model like very dramatically. And yeah, so lots of cool upgrades from the last one. We had a light, of course, before, but I just got more powerful ones. So I'm super excited about that. It's gonna be so fun. I haven't done one there in a minute. Actually, probably quite a while. Once football begins, it's a little bit harder to do them at places like that. Yeah, Matt says that would be so cool. I'm open to that. Awesome. Okay, well, we'll chat and get a date for that. I think that would be awesome. For anyone that's tuning in Arizona, I just saw on the weather that next week we're gonna have like really good weather, like Monday, Tuesday. It's gonna be in the 70s. Holy cow! It's gonna be really nice out. Got a zoo date with a mom. I'm excited, and her baby. I don't know if you saw my story earlier, but I had Delilah in here in my studio. She has been so much fun. She loves it in here so much. She's really cool because I can get intermittently stuff done while she's kind of like, feels like she's helping. She very much likes to organize things around. So funny. She's so cute. I'm a little biased, I guess, but yeah, so let me share this. I'll share the post on my Instagram. But yeah, it was this post about, which obviously we know, like, we're super rare, in the sense that the chances of us being here are just so rare, and so the odds of us existing are so small, even black holes are more common, which is crazy. So 1 in hundreds of billions, even on the day that we're conceived, hundreds of millions of sperms are up for the running. And so also just even thinking about historically, like our ancestors and what the chances of us being here, it's over 1 trillion events had to go perfectly right for us to be here, to have been born. And we have over 1 trillion ancestor links, and everyone had to survive, meet the right person, reproduce at the right moment, everything. And then even with trillions of chances, we still won. So, I think there's a lot to be said about that, especially with everything kind of going on right now. It's so easy to get stuck in our head about the world, and rightfully so. But it's still such a blessing to be able to be here and experience life. And I'm trying to do my best to like keep that in mind and not let it get me down too much. So yeah, we are so lucky to be here. So lucky to know one another as well. I think that's like another thing too. Um, like the chances of that are so rare. And not to be taken lightly. I mean, even like with social media, like for example, like Matt, who's on here, we went to high school together, and like that's obviously through social media you can stay connected, and that's so freaking special. And actually, speaking of Matt, so it'll be fun to have you on because we can chat about it too. But Matt was always drawing, and I always thought that was so cool. And I was interested in art then, but not as much now, obviously. But so yeah, just these like chances that we're here. It's just so cool. And yeah, not to be taken for granted. I've talked before, but I'm obsessed with these Q-tips, especially these pointy ones. They really get everything out. I can just like carve into it, wipe it out, get my brightest brights, especially with the golden acrylic gesso. It's like their bright white, I think it's called. Love it so much. I basically don't. I'm primarily using those, especially lately. You can just kind of really, especially if it's still kind of wet, you can get to the ground of your surface. Yes, Mr. Y's class rocked. I couldn't remember the name. Wasn't that economics, I think? I think it was economics. I remember more about drawing in there than the teacher's name, but he was super nice. It's crazy is there's a bunch of friends, people from high school that are like teaching there. And also how developed it is over there. I'm catching a bit of glare on the camera. And her nose looks way brighter than it is, but that's okay. That's just also a sign that I need to take it down a bit. Let's get a bit of temperature going on her nose right there. Let me soften it. Let's try a little bit of different music. Or how about Into Space, since in honor of the astronauts. Okay. Let me get clear skin. And so yeah, I feel like this white in the background, I would much rather it be lighter like that one. So I'll just put some oil in there to see. I'm also trying to be less afraid of paint. It sounds silly, but it is really easy to not want to like glob the paint on. And I think the more we can glob the paint on, the more we can like work it in and do more stuff with it, make it more interesting. Sculpt with paint. So here now I can start to brighten up. Yeah, so I can manipulate this paint around a little bit more. I don't know, it's kind of cool. It's just definitely a little different than what I normally do, but trying to just, like I said, experiment, try different things, especially with brush hour. Because what are we without taking chances? You know, I saw this really cool thing about this, and this is a good one. I'll share it. Actually, I did repost it so you can see that on my Instagram. But it talked about like this really quirky girl was like, let's quantum leap. And she was talking about how, you know, like envision that you are talking in 6 months to, you know, your best friend, you're FaceTiming them and you're telling them this like brand new news, that's something that you accomplished, that maybe you've been working for, or just something like super ambitious, even something that like, you know, you could only hope for. And she's like, okay, so think about that and think about how you got there. What did you do to do that? Like, what things did you change about your daily, you know, your daily tasks, your daily decision making, who you're spending time with, your thoughts, and what you're doing with those thoughts? Are you like, you know, are they bad thoughts that you sit in and dwell in, or do you know, kind of move forward? And, you know, what are the things you are doing and to accomplish these things. And she's like, you can do that right now. Fast forward to right now and do those things that would do that. And that really has made me think so much. And yeah, I'm like really kind of excited to try to like make myself think a little bit differently like that. And we are who we surround ourselves with, we are who the thoughts that we make, the things that we sit the thoughts that we sit in, and what we do about it. So yeah, I think that's like a really cool thing to think about. What do you want to be doing? What's like something again that is maybe more ambitious than would think? What's like the big dream goal, and kind of reverse engineer it. And I really love that. I think that's like really beautiful, and something that we can all think about. And for me, I've been again thinking a lot about that, and that's definitely like within my work and what I can be doing differently to kind of like get me to my goals, my next steps. And it's definitely like taking, bigger risks, I think, with my work. And maybe, sometimes it might be not a great painting that I like love. And that's okay, but a lot of times it will probably be something that I do like. So yeah, hopefully that kind of leaves you with something kind of inspiring. And I think now more than ever, we probably need to be doing that, taking care of our mental health. Okay. So yeah, this one still has some ways to go, but it'll be good to kind of keep playing with it. I'm just kind of sprinkling some of the pink on. And leave this with, tap out some of this. All right, well, that was another fun brush hour. Hope everyone had a good time. And if you missed any of it, you can always go to my YouTube channel and watch it from the beginning. But yeah, hope everyone had a great week, feels a little bit inspired. And yeah, take care of yourself out there, and I will see you next week. Bye.